Okay, done. Thank you. A very good afternoon to the respectable dignitaries, faculty, fraternity, and dear participants. So it gives me great pleasure to speak to you in this event and to welcome you most cordially for the second day of Academia Industry MoU Conclave, organized by the JSS Science and Technology University with the blessings of His Holiness Shekhar Guru Sri Shivaratri Deshikendra Mahaswami. It's a great pleasure to welcome our beloved keynote speaker of the session, Mr. Shekhar, HMP, Chief Mentor and Director, Tejas Networks to this conclave. Welcome, sir. I would like to extend warm welcome to our session chair, Dr. B.S. Mahananda, Professor and Head, Department of Information Science and Engineering, JSS Science and Technology University. Welcome, sir. Also, I would like to welcome our session co-chair, Dr. Chennamma H.C., Associate Professor, Department of Computer Applications, JSS Science and Technology University. Welcome. I also take immense pleasure in welcoming the faculties, research scholars, and students of JSS Science and Technology University to this gathering. Finally, a warm welcome to all the amazing individuals gathered here. Your presence makes this day truly special. Now I request Professor Mahananda sir to introduce the keynote speaker and initiate the session. Over to you, sir. Sir,
So, good afternoon, everybody. We have a keynote address by Shekhar HMP. So, we are fortunate to have him in this campus. And as a preamble, he's our proud alumni also. He completed his BE in computer science and he holds a master degree in computer science and engineering. Sir, welcome back to Alma Mater. So, Mr. Shekhar has over 25 years of professional experience in training, education management, training operations and delivery, people management, driving research innovation in engineering, technology, and education. Prior to Tejas Networks, he has worked in Amila, Infosys Technologies, and he was also a faculty in MSRIT and a PSI Data Systems. As I told you, he has led a lot of team managers, leads, technical trainers, instructional designers, language experts, professional skills and communication trainings, and also he is in charge of competency development programs for employees, clients, partners across different regions, to name a few: APAC region, Japan, EU, and US. Sir, we are fortunate to have you on this stage, and on behalf of the institution, I wholeheartedly welcome you, sir. Over to you. Welcome. That's easy for me. Good afternoon, everyone. I think the session time is always very fast, right? So it's almost, I don't know how many of you have had lunch already. You're going to have lunch. If you're all hungry, and then not take much time to speak, but I would like to give the space to the experience in the topic that's the topic. You can feel free to ask any questions that you have. So that is what you can do. It's a privilege to be coming to an institute where you have studied. Okay, so that is something is everyone feels proud. Um, Indies batch, even these are buildings there and way back. It's the only one building, but that's supposed to be the best building for us. If you compare to any other institutes. See, I think Bangalore here, Bangalore actually. So we had the dream to join a computer science and engineering branch that time. So I know the institution is only two colleges at that time. Most of my friends, most of the friends had wanted to join
minutes worker. That's what now NIT, Moderna is an IC. Huh? The other one, if you wanted to go for a mechanical, it's NIMIC. Okay, that is a choice. And you know what? Everyone sees this SJP. All credit goes to Dr. Chidananda Gowda. Okay. So I don't know how many of you are aware of Professor Chidananda Gowda, who used to be the head of the department that time in computer science and the principal, the vice chancellor also stays there. So he has built the department with a what the previous topic of all the discussion of so-called, the collaboration, working together, all have been witnessed by us that time. So we have witnessed that we had the best of best research labs which were there that to work on because this time we started working with the artificial intelligence of neural networks. So imagine, the time, even though, and you talk about the topic, but that is a time when we never knew what is artificial intelligence. So it's a so that's the course of elective which used to be there. Video lectures were elective. So Chidananda Gowda took the elective, and then for us, we taught subject. We felt very different from the other subjects that we studied that time. All these things can happen, or is it something called you calling as the movies thinking, or what it is? So that is how the thought process used to be. But today, it's almost like 4 decades or so. You see that there is the reality coming in terms of an artificial intelligence. People are embracing this technology and started using this technology in a much bigger way. Okay? So, and then a lot of things to go forward in terms of. So, before I just start, I just wanted to just look at how many of you have used artificial intelligence tools, softwares, anything. Have you used artificial intelligence tools, softwares, anything? People may be using or may not be using, or they will be using, they will not be knowing. The reality is not that. They are not converting in one or the other side, one of the other portals, they are actually using in their mobiles, but they know that there is an intelligence which is there built as part of certain applications which are there. So that may not be known, right? So that is what would be there. So you should, if you wanted to look at your journey, right, in terms of creating the artificial intelligence as an area to work with. So did do any of that? I just want to know because all the stakeholders are here. So students are there, I suppose faculty is there from the different departments. Maybe the administrative staff are also there as part of this university. I would like to address from the three standpoint, right? When you look at the students, when you see the students, you started working in artificial intelligence. Anyone has started looking at learning the subjects? So are there anyone from the last year of your engineering? They're research scholars. Okay. So they're not students. No students. Okay. Postgraduate students. Postgraduate students. All right. So in that case, if you I have a different way to look at. So in this case, you might be looking at work in a specific domains of your field in your research, which you may be doing. It may be a fundamental or an applied research, what you might be looking at. So let us see that how an AI has certain role to play here. My focus of this discussion is whole towards because it's seen as a workforce. Is I also take care of the HR part also in the organization. So when it comes to the learning and development, the HR services or anything, so I focus towards how an AI or in an education sector, how an AI can be looked at the possible ways of using, right? So that's something we'll try to look at as part of the discussions. Okay. So feel free to ask any questions or anything anytime that you have. So as you can see, the evolution, right? I just want to start with this slide where this picture. I wanted to put another picture. Any idea what she looks after? Any idea after that? It's an evolution, right? What is after that? What's the picture? Planet mission. Okay. So, okay, there's a mission. Yeah, man, mission is now what I even to picturize. Because after the mission, there is all the discussions previously looked at in terms of we should use AI in an ethical way, right? To what extent the intelligence can go, right? Building the intelligence. Intelligence is built by us. We are building the intelligence. We are trying to solve the problems which are complex using AI. Yeah. So now when we are trying to solve the problems, it should not be that it will start trying to the next picture is that it will start controlling us in whatever way. Is that is the one which is where the how we build the society is all we have to just look at. Now that's the next picture actually. So we want to do that we finally when both man and a mission working together, right? So that's the point. I don't want to get into this because most of you would be aware of, right? So all I was saying, when you look at AI, if you don't know what is AI, right? If you are not aware of what is an AI kind of a thing, so what you are doing a work, right? What you are doing a work, which can be very mundane work. How many of you in your home has robot you use a device, a domestic cleaner? Anyone of you? You're not using anyone, right? Robo, right? A robo which actually would see before and then clean it, everything, or program it, and then make it, then you can come back, start through these things. So if you look at these kind of applications on Siri, Apple phone, everyone uses, right? The fond of Apple phone. Siri, right? Siri you are using, right? So Siri is what? So you have at home? No? Alexa is not there, right? Okay, so these are the things which you can see in a small way around you on what it has to. It all started in like another tuning to in a Indian paper thinking about what the field test, what we talked about, but it was gone a long way to look at when IBM invested a lot of things on the deep blue technology. And if you see Google is investing in a big way. Amazon is investing in a big way. Microsoft is going big in terms of an open AI technology. Right? Open AI is what I think open sourcing is that Dr. Jagdish was talking about, right? So open AI is a one which has completely changed, which has completely changed the game. Uh, your all research, we use ChatGPT. Raise your hands. How many of you could use ChatGPT? When I asked first question, do you use artificial intelligence helping? You said nobody likes, behind. You don't want to like stuff. So is it ethical in the university to use ChatGPT? Now what's the difference at ChatGPT? So it has changed the game. If you look at AI has gone through a lot of ups and downs. A lot of ups and downs. People started doing research, something came out, it stopped, and again it went on because computation used to be very different. When we worked in the same computer science, my project was on image recognition using neural net, back propagation of the. So that time we know it used to be. So Tejas and Gaurav, we work on modified path propagation. We changed the formula in an efficient way of doing things, right? So when we worked, it was a 386 mission. So that mission, when you run the algorithm, the most important thing is the convergence factor in these algorithms when you look at it. So you have to, I used to all the way, myself and my friend in the team to do the project. We used to go to the towns. I don't know how many of you. When there used to be a towns, I don't know. Towns is the same word is being used. I'm not sure. Here, the towns used to be that once it will go to the side, and we used to be a lot of money over there. So I used to walk up until probably I sound of until the program is still running. It's a 386 system. It's a different propagation algorithm. It used to come into that other conversions. So we stay 2, 3 hours, 4 hours, used to wait. And then something wrong happens, go back to the code. and start looking at. So that used to be time when AI realization, when it used to be much difficult. Now computation is not difficult. Computation is much advanced. Storage is very much advanced. That has given an avenue for the conventional finance to grow. Right? These things are these to have really made us to think about doing a lot of things, innovations, including AI part when it comes to right. So, how many of you are aware of virtualization technique? Virtualization. Are you aware of virtualization, right? Maybe it's hard. Because to look at when virtualization as a technology when it came into picture, people were not able to accept the usage of the virtualization so easily. And virtualization next step is a cloud. The next step is a cloud. When cloud came into picture, everyone said there is no security, there is nothing, everything is on public. We don't want cloud. Okay, there's always. So, what I want to bring this to the example is people will always, the two groups of this will always be present for any technology which comes into the society for any kind of improvement that should happen. My contribution. There are two things here. Now, how does nobody else think? It has been slowly, into whatever reports that are being worked out and how it is accepted, it's been used. AI is also will happen. The AI will also will happen, and it's in a small way that where the problems has to be solved, it is happening, and it will start going in over a period of time. Japan as a country is the number one, right? In terms of artificial intelligence, right? If you look at other one, which is number one in terms of how initial robots and all of things that I used to see a cartoon which is what is it? I forgot the cartoon name. It's a Robo cartoon. I forgot the name. So that used to be that is an exciting thing initially when it comes to. So a lot of changes that happened on top of each one. Then artificial intelligence, the neural networks, natural language processing, these things have come, and now it is taking a big leap in terms of a GPT, right? It is from the open AI. So now it is a when it comes to GPT, it is a full version what it has come today, and people started looking at why you have to think about these things is you may be from any branch. You are from any branch of discipline that you may do a research or anything. AI gets applied to all, right? AI is something which is being applied to all domains when it comes. So you can start thinking of how you can. What is that doing your work? So if you use ChatGPT in a day, how will be your productivity? Your productivity of work which you want to do. Your ChatGPT you used and you did the work. So you don't use ChatGPT, you use ChatGPT. You see how productive you are. Is it productive? Are you productive in terms of doing things? Yes or no? Yes. No. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. Okay. So that is the key thing, in artificial intelligence, look at productivity is a key thing. Which anyone where you wanted to achieve, you just have to look at. So I talked about this, business productivity is the key thing in artificial intelligence. Imagine today in your own campus, there were discussions previously to look at uh, Jagdish was mentioning about why new buildings are not constructed by road. The same thing to see. There are multiple opportunities for you to do in the AI within your campus for your contributions to this education. You can do a lot of things. I just give certain things, certain ideas, particular slides. Okay, so AI is accepted through a lot of research, documents or research analysis, every country that it is growing very fast. It is growing very fast. India is also, when you look at AI and automation, it has a great potential. This is the numbers you can read. is a number when it comes to in terms of what it can bring a transformation, what it can bring a transformation when it comes. I'm not talking about a global number. Global number is much bigger when it comes to. So your industries is where you can start thinking in the industries, where it can get applied, whether it is agriculture, retail, whether it is finance, whether it is education. So the best way that the students can look at is education because you have domain experts. So you need a domain expert. If you come to any company, you need a domain expert. Without domain, you cannot start. If you look at, so you take up your projects where your domain experts are there, and you can start doing it. It's not so difficult when it comes to looking at it. So the Gartner, emerging trends also list in terms of your years, in terms of the space, how it can go, right? In terms of the what is important in terms of transparency and privacy, if every country is looking at today, is a responsible AI, the responsible AI. So that's very important because um, I'm sure the students community would know there is a news among the students getting into a fake news and all those things because of this AI. Right? So how the regulations and everything should come from the country. So the prime minister office and rest of committees were formed to look at all the regulations. So those are very critical. So its own regulations and how AI can come to what extent and how to use this. Right? So now, on the one course, if you look at in the AI, so it's just on the skill side, what you should be aware of when you work on the AI. If you want to know, study is there from TCS, and Achut is from HP. So people work on different technologies when it comes to AI. See that if you want to build your students especially, right? If you want to build faculty to look at in terms of building their, the most important thing is when you look at you give a job roles, job. What you do in an industry, you have multiple roles, right? When it comes to any AI company or AI division in a company when you join, so there are different roles. So I was there for almost, when it comes to almost 7.5 years, I was part of the company. It's an AI company, completely an AI company. So where we used to build conversational agents, cognitive solutions for the different customers worldwide, all the regions. Right? So cognitive solutions. So we used to recruit a people from a fresher who's a cognitive engineer. He's a cognitive. He starts his career as a cognitive engineer. Some companies will call it different designations. It may be an AI engineer or machine learning engineer or somebody in a deeper knowledge, data scientist, or the names can be very different depending on the roles. So there are certain skills which is expected in terms of the roles that you. So you may be going as a product manager in a cognitive product manager. Then you are not seen as you grow in the career. It's very different. You may be in a pre-sales. So the most important thing I believe is not that. Is that the people should understand the roles in the industry. The roles in the industry. AI when it comes to right. See, I wanted to do it. I wanted to build an application. I want to do AI is not the first thing. You should know that what opportunities are there. What roles can I play in an industry on the AI. So that's very important. And what skill that I should build over a period of a time during my academic sessions so that I become more ready in terms of getting for that role. That is what is very key thing to look at. The skills are very listed. So do you think how you have to know if you see the skills that is being listed? It's a very straightforward. It's a very straightforward. It is first is the data. So entire human intelligence works on data. Our intelligence, works on data. So now, so I can know that HP. So HP is data for me now in my mind. So your cognitive agents or conversational things which you build, it has to learn is all data. Data is very critical. Your chat GPT has billions of data parameters, always it is. Right? Billions of data parameters in each first. So you should know data, how to understand the data sources, data analysis techniques as part of it. You should be knowing the data security, privacy related issues. So that's a knowledge that is required for any. So we are not saying that any fresher should know in a deeper, but he should know the basics of these things. The second is the AI and machine learning, because now entire thing is the AI concepts of the ML, right? Plus being very important engine, right, for learning overall. So the ML is very important. So you have to start knowing those how AI works and how the MI calculated. So in order to get into the second skill, if somebody is not good at mathematics, wants to go into an architect course, is very difficult. He can still be using an AI tools and do some roles. When he needs to go deep, he has to understand the mathematics foundations are very important. I don't know, I've not seen the curriculum, but I'm saying in AI and everything curriculum is there, a core probabilistic reasoning, and then the statistical models. All these are very critical to understand. When anyone wants to go as an ML engineer, right? This is when architect or anything, well, he is defining this solution. Right, this part. The coding, when it comes to a programming, right? How many of you are computer science? You code? No. Okay. So when you are a computer scientist, you will learn a lot of things. And today, because you don't know that. You have learned Python, getting in career of AI or Python for anything. Yeah. Okay. So Python is something which is very critical. Now we are putting almost 50 interns into the automation project in our my company who has to work on a Python to create operations, because it's a critical work which has to happen in the next 8 months to work. So the people have to acquire this skill. Python is critical. I think, if you have not started looking at, you start seeing that it is, when you get in this industry. Okay. Right. So there's many other things. AI, many other, it's sort of a coding you need, but something is it, a foundational beginning that anyone who wants to recruit will look at. Okay, Python. It's the minimum, first entry that is looked at as part of it. So build the scale if you are looking at which definitely will help. Problem solving skill is something very important, because let me talk about, if you see the life cycle of a solution of a cognitive, the first thing, right, if you wanted to, first thing is you have to understand the problem. See, they say that, I'll take a very simple example. Let me take an admission in the university of a large scale. If you take a university wherein 10,000 students are there, say JSS, STU has a 10,000 students admission per year. How do you manage the admission of the 10,000 students in terms of all the queries that comes from these 10,000 students? And
All they have so many things. Parents have queries, students have queries. There are so many questions, so many things to understand as part of it, right? So they want to know the branch, they want to know how the placements are. They have so many questions. Now, when this is something which is there, you want to have a very simple assistant, the technical queries answering people. How many people are required for 10,000 people to answer? You need to 10,000. It's just a simple example I'm taking because you understand the university structure. But think about telecom, like British Telecom is handling the networking issues. British Telecom client is handling the global networking issues per day. How does they look at? Can they have so many engineers to work on? I'm taking a very simple example as part of it. You have to see what do you need to do? Do you employ humans for these mundane jobs, or you will look at for an alternate solution? Do you want to do, first of all, mundane jobs? You're all engineers, right? Right? That is a simple question, right? When it comes to, do you want to do a mundane jobs, or you wanted to do something more next level things? So when these kind of jobs are there, you obviously need to look at the automation. Automation as part of it. So that's where your AI, you need to build a cognitive solution. So the first in the life cycle is understanding the complex problem. You should have a critical thinking. How do I solve this problem? So you have to develop that. So you talk to the placement officer and then look at what is your problem majorly. Can you do a solution, come out with a solution as part of it, when you build a system. So those are the things that you should start looking at. And once you see, it is all, I think, how many of you use, now most of you use this retail apps, right? Big Basket, Zomato, and recently I was using Harbin. I don't know how many Saurabh Bothra's yoga classes, right? Is something which is going big way, the Guinness World Record. I think most of you would have received the messages on WhatsApp there on him. So you go to him, you ask a question. He has around nearly 5 lakh yoga students. He manages, his model of his from IIT Bhubaneswar, right? So BHU. So he manages very differently his app. So I was just starting to chat and I see that the chat is not a human. When answering any of my questions, it's not a human. It is an AI agent. It's an AI agent. So you can scale only if you have an automation solutions or an AI agent. Scalability comes to the picture. So you cannot employ anyone like that. So that's a thought process, solutions wise, we should start seeing where and all, AI can bring it in. So that's a problem solving part. And then you should be creative, and innovation is something which is very common skill that anyone, when it comes to, and always, I want to tell one important thing, when it comes to, people think that AI can solve everything. AI cannot solve. See, everyone discussed on that. AI cannot solve everything. It cannot solve it. Always you should talk to customer or convince the thing, I can solve this particular business problem using AI. That is only the thing. I can bring productivity and scalability, and your better quality of service can come into picture in this. You should articulate that. So that is how the solution comes into picture. The people think, okay, AI can be applied for the entire thing. No, not like that. It may not work in many situations, right? So always human intelligence comes bigger. It has to only be an augmenting your task that you want to achieve. So that is what an AI is all about. So that is where the innovative and creation, how you put your things is. Emotional intelligence is very important because you are creating your intelligence. What X person used to do has to be done by AI agent. Now, if you see many of the conversational agents, so where I was part of a company where we took one celebrity model and we created an avatar of that model, and she is the face to our customers. And when it comes to region-wise, the avatars are different. When you have a Japanese clients to build, it is different. Avatars are different. When it is the European clients, it is different. So you need to have different. And language is also very important, in terms of, that's why I put a language expert is required in AI, because it has to know language is also critical in which you are building the conversational agents, as part of it. So emotional intelligence, you should be stressing on, you should be aware of that fact when it comes to life, about lifelong. And last point I told that every country is working on, you as a developer, cognitive developer, should be ethical and responsible thinking should be there when you develop the solution. If you develop with the fake news, which comes right, that sort of a thing people go, then it's wrong. Right? So what's happening is wrong. Now, with this, just a quick background, I just wanted to have these slides for just to say that what an AI is and how it has come over a period of time. Technology would be successful and is going successful for the very reason that we have to see the niche areas where we can start applying. So that's a thought process. And coming back to the education when it comes to now changes in education. Do you agree with these pictures? Can you see I just put a pictures, cartoons from what I see the changes of education. Good or bad is a debate. It's a good or bad is a debate, always a debate. Good or bad is a debate where we start with a Gurukul kind of an environment and where we are seeing that in your classroom, the next person is not you, but is an AI. Okay, so you can come to the stage of what in an education where, because I don't know how many of you seen Rajinikanth movies, Robo 1, Robo 2, watched? Everyone? Okay, you can see, I think you will go to one of the saloon shop and then there will be a yellow page books and then he will just try to just, scan the things and he remembers every addresses, right? Right? So it's all it looks very nice for us when you see that scene, but as an engineer, you can also think about, is it possible? Is it possible? How do I really start looking at doing that thing if you are in a AI space, right? You will start thinking at when it comes to. So we have come to a stage where in AI, and I'll give an example. After I wrote 2 articles on the AI in education as part of for the customers. In that article, once it is written, US Defense Training and Development started a POC with us. They wanted to have a conversational agent created for their training services. So we worked on that project for them. So what I'm saying is, it's not, you can create in Tejas HTU, the students can come into a group of teams to work on the problems of education. Why it is easy? Because all are education domain experts here. You need a domain expert, right? If you want to work on a cognitive agent solution for HR, somebody who is very good in the HR services should guide you. You know how things will work. If you are developing a solution, cognitive solution for an education, it is easy because the domain experts are right here, whom you can work with, and they understand how the system works. Right? They can tell you to actually work on the development when it comes to. So this is where we are today. We are with the mission. We are with the mission. We have a tutors. You might have used different applications. There are tutors, which is a converse agent tutors, which are available. Okay. So this is and it's moving. I put it down to understand. Now, this is a big picture. Okay, I'll not take that much time. This is my slide. The end, when you see, if you see for all the stakeholders, right? The university administration, the university faculty, the university students. What is for the students? What is for the faculty? What is for the administration to run? So when it comes to all possibilities, the critical thing in any university you look at is all the discussion happen and all this industry academia meet is happening. How should be my curriculum? What should be the curriculum so that it is closer to what the industry is looking at? It should be generic. Generic in the sense, generic to the industry. You cannot make it, if you want to make it very specific, then it is very different. It's very difficult. Then you go in a bias mode, looking at creating a content only for one thing. And Praveen, they have come out with a curriculum which is more for any IT services company on the business systems, right? It is on the business systems, IT business systems related, right? So that is where we can look at. So one is a content. What you can do on a content? Who develops the content? The faculty develops the content. So how do they develop a content? Today, they develop a content. Earlier it was only books, right? So my son is in the 12th standard, it's so much of heavy in terms of, I don't know, you are all joined it's a heavy in the subject. When we studied, it was not that much. To be true, what we studied was the content, which is much lesser. Because of the content being so much and availability of the content from multiple sources, it is extremely high when it comes to. But you have to curate your content for your learning. You have to actually come out with what is essential as part of it. So that is where your important thing is a content development, which should be high. So how do you develop the content? It is when it comes to, if you want to develop today video contents, you might, in your learning, in your Coursera, when it comes to your LinkedIn learning, any one of these things when you look at, or any other, Udemy or whatever, right? So When you look at your content is developed as a video content, or it may be a content which is a web-based content, right? It's a web-based content which will be there, or it may be a simple text and an audio part. You can actually leverage AI tools for this, right? How many of you anyone has used InVideo.ai? InVideo? Raise your hand, I saw one. Good. So how do you feel that InVideo? You're used as a subscriber or the licensed one or just a one thing? See, InVideo is, I also used InVideo.ai. It's really good. It's really good, damn good. Okay? So when it comes to, you put your script, what you want to achieve. If I want all this 30 minutes of talk on the keynote, I can put a script and everything. I need not be present here. So I can have a voiceover and I can select a global voiceovers, right? Which maybe if I want a country-specific voiceovers, I can have a voiceovers or a global voiceovers. It is possible for any of these things to look at. So you can edit this script. It generates. That is what is a generative AI. It's a generative AI tool, like what the Google has about, and then you have the ChatGPT. So these tools, it's all a generative AI. So that larger artifacts, it searches and creates a curated artifact, which may be a text, audio, video, or anything. So that is what it's doing. We should start looking at how we can create a content using that so that it is very productive, because the most challenge for a faculty is that they have to create a new department, new courses, new things. How quickly they can be ready to start the program. Start the program. It is very difficult. It's not easy, we go in a conventional way to look at and start seeing every content and look at it takes time. The measurement in a content development of 10 slides to be created, how much time it takes. Can I quickly do it? Lesser than that time is where you have to. So content development is a one area. You should start looking at some solutions. Why don't students start working on helping the faculty to creating a tools in this area, wherein the content development becomes much easier, much productive. Use any APIs. Build your application using the existing. OpenAI is there. Start using the OpenAI. You integrate and start looking at how your application should behave with respect to your JSS STU. So that's possible when it comes to. So education delivery. I'm not saying that you made a virtual instructors. It's all augmenting, augmenting the instructors. Labs. It may be a lab instructors. So the set of labs which has to be there. What the programs has to be taught, what need to be done. Can a conversational agent, when anything mistake comes, can it scan your program and say that where you are doing a mistake and what should be the correction? It can also say this is the correction. You can rewrite your program code in this way. Create tools which actually can start guiding. It's an ML based and it will start learning, right? So you can create virtual instructors, co-instructors, and create an AI agents for that and start looking at this area as a one. The education operations, this is very critical, right? How do you put? Sure, okay. I'll stop at this, just the education operations, and then when it comes to the outcomes, your roster creation, class creations, anything can be automated as part of it. So these are some of the avenues which I wanted to put. The key drivers is what I have listed out when you see as part of it. As the time is there, not much there, when it comes to. So if you see the AI market, education market is growing very fast. All the companies are working on solutions. There are avenues to look at. A lot of startup companies have come. With this, I wanted to say that ignite your interest into an AI. And AI is something, a fantastic area to also to look at and build your career. So if your passion may be many things, the domain may be many things, but start looking at the possibilities and create something which is from India, for global market. Create from India for the global market, and that is something you should be more satisfied. So thank you. We will just
No, Manju N, Associate Professor, Department of IC and JSSSTU Mysuru, an honor and privilege to extend oath of thanks on this occasion. On behalf of JSS Technical University, I would like to thank our keynote speaker, Mr. Shekhar, HMP, Chief Mentor and Director, Tejas Networks, who spent his most valuable time with us and given an excellent presentation on AI in education, shaping tomorrow's workforce. Thank you, sir. I also thank our respected session chair, Professor B.S. Maharada, Professor and Head, Department of IAC, Co-Chair Dr. Chandama, HC Associate Professor, Department of CA, JSSSTU Mysuru, for their valuable time and support to conduct this event. My heartfelt thanks to all the faculties, research scholars, and students for their active participation in this event. I am very grateful to the management for giving us an opportunity to organize this event. No program can become successful with a single person. Edward Everett Hale says, and I quote, "Coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success." So I extend my big thanks to everyone who involved for making this event a grand success. Now we have panel discussion. Request you all to stay back. Over to Tejas.
Thank you, sir. So, good afternoon, everyone. So, with the blessings of His Holiness Sri Jagadguru Sri Srivatrishwara Mahaswamiji, I, Tejas Sangameshwar, session in charge, welcome you all to this conclave panel discussion. Today, we have the privilege of hosting a thought-provoking panel discussion on AI-powered campus innovation, research, and startup, charting the course for tomorrow. Distinguished panelist brings a wealth of expertise and diverse perspective to shed light on the critical subject. So allow me to introduce our esteemed panelists. So first, Mr. Achyut Panduranga, Business Lead Strategy and Planning Department Business Group, HP R&D University Relation Leader. Mr. Achyut is a business lead at HP Enterprise, bringing over 25 years of global leadership in various technology domains. He serves voluntarily as the R&D University Relation Leaders for HP, embodying the company's commitment to being a force for good. He has led organizational transformation, championed agile methodologies, and excelled in technology road mapping. Beyond work, Mr. Achyut explores the future intersection of technology and organization as a passionate futurist. We welcome you. Next, we have this Professor Ogasawara, Hokkaido University, Japan. Professor Ogasawara, holding PhD and MBA, is a distinguished academic with an expert spanning in medical informatics, clinical economics, and hospital management. His research delves into the intersection of information technology and medical systems, solving societal medical challenges through a holistic approach. Originating from a background in radiation technology, information engineering, and medical informatics, Mr. Professor Ogasawara emphasizes the joy in research, welcoming diverse perspectives in seminars and labs. Welcome. Next, we have Dr. Jayavardhana Gubi, Principal Scientist, TCS. Dr. Jayavardhana Gubi is a Principal Scientist at TCS, specializing in machine vision and devices. With over 20 years of experience, he holds a PhD in engineering from the University of Melbourne. Recognized as the TCS patent champion and distinguished engineer, Dr. Gubi has excelled in research and development, particularly in pattern recognition, signal processing, and computer vision for healthcare, robotics, and IoT applications. We welcome you, sir. Next, we have is Dr. Dharma Prasad, CEO and Chief Scientist of Rosetta Bioinformatics Private Limited. Dharma Prasad is a dynamic leader in biotechnology and education, co-founder of successful companies in diagnostics, research, and education. He is also a director of Fun Plus Learn Solutions, recognized with Distinguished Alumni Award from University of Mysore. Dr. Prasad is not only a scientist but a prolific author with 9 books and over 11 research articles. We welcome him. So, last but not the least, we have Mr. Shekhar, HMP, the Chief Mentor and Director of Tejas. I think it's been introduced by Mr. Anand. We welcome you. So, coming to our session chair is Dr. Shiv Prakash, Department of Information Science and Technology. So, we welcome Dr. Shiv Prasad. We have Dr. Nalina KB as our co-chair, who's from Department of MBA, Tejas Science and Technology University. We welcome you, ma'am. So lastly, we have Mr. Shekhar. He is the Chief Executive Officer of SDSC STEP as our moderator. We welcome you. So I now request Dr. Shiv Prakash to open the panel.
Good afternoon, esteemed analysts and distinguished audience. Going before the lotus feet, I extend my sincere pranams and seek the divine blessings of His Holiness. It is with great pleasure and enthusiasm that I welcome each of you to this enlightening session on AI-powered campus innovation research and startup, charting the course for tomorrow. Artificial intelligence has become a driving force in reshaping the landscape of academia, research, and entrepreneurial ventures. As the session chair, I am honored to guide our discussion today and well into the exciting development and possibilities that arise at the intersection of artificial intelligence, campus innovation, research, and startup. The wealth of your expertise spanning academia, industry, and entrepreneurship, along with your valuable insights, plays a crucial role in charting the course for tomorrow's advancement. I am confident that this session will be a forum for thought-provoking discussions and collaborative exploration. Let us embark on this journey together, fostering an environment of knowledge sharing and envisioning a future where AI transforms the landscape of innovation and startup ventures on campus. Once again, a warm welcome to our distinguished panelists, and I look forward to an engaging, insightful session.
Taking the blessings of His Holiness. Let me set the context particular session. Knowing water, where Shekhar has been head in terms of what AI impact. Let me give the little bit of what has been done in the last 20 years. For the last 30 years, the landscape of information technology has undergone a remarkable transformation, largely driven by the evolution of the internet. Agent and technology surrounding into that. AI is the byproduct which you are seeing in current market. Our discussion now will delve into the multifaceted impact of AI on the dreams of the innovation, research, and technology development, and the best startup. The topic, or maybe the title is slightly tweaking to that. The AI-empowered campus innovation, research, startup, not only from the campus point of view and also from the industry point of view as well, because there's a lot of challenges being thrown out, and now we're also looking into that. The integration of AI technologies into various aspects of our lives has not only reshaped the way we work and also the interact, but also revolutionized the innovation research and also the technology development. If I put it in an analogy kind of a thing, last 20 years, if you go back and look at dial-up era of connecting to the internet, happened to be, Step has received the first internet in Mysore way back in the 90s, where some of you are probably, witnessed that in that aspect. Macintosh were the, first computers landed in the campus. So still, I'm talking about around 90s of generation. Then came, broadband connections where you got access to, many household and things like that. And today we are talking about AI dominance, like the transformative leap from broadband to fiber optics, and exponentially increasing the efficiency and capabilities of the IT industry, not only from the industry point of view and also from the campus. In essence, the IT revolution since early 90s to the present day can be metamorphically linked to the evolution of the internet connectivity from the slow but promising dial-up era through the rapid expansion of the broadband to the current era dominated by the high-speed transfer post of the artificial intelligence. As we engage in this panel discussion, let's see some insights which over and above what Shekhar is already shared with us and the past, present, and looking at the future's AI impact on our digital landscape and collectively chart a course for a responsible, inclusive, and sustainable advancement in the years to come. All the panelists, I welcome once again all of you to this discussion. I'll reintroduce in a slightly different way because the beauty of the panel is like two of you have been started your career in academia and then moved on to become part of the industry. And then we have a professor continue to be on an academia side and still looking at the transformations part of that. And also Achyuta has also been in an industry point of view, continue to be in the industry. And we are contrasting all of that. Started with the industry and shortly moved with his own enterprise and being a scientist, being an entrepreneur, being an author is a different journey altogether. So we get a good combination of exposure and expertise combined together. So straight away the question I look at is, as AI continues to transform industries, from my straight question to Achyuta here, how the industry is preparing towards the transitions. So where we're looking at is like from last 2 days, what and all we delivered, maybe a quick glance at that. We touch based on why AI, what AI, and who. So that part is more or less all the panel session has covered, including during the inauguration. So why AI. Now we need to look at when, how, and then where part of that, looking at your own experiences. So the questions which I am looking at to Achyuta is basically, so as AI continue to transform and evolve, still we know that it is a lot of work is going in the back. How industry is preparing towards the transitions. From your own experience in the industry, we started with just dial-up internet era and now with AI. So where do you stand? And being also head for university connections from your point of view.
Can you all hear me? Thank you very much, first up, to have me in this August panel. I feel pretty small looking at all the stalwarts here. Thank you for the opportunity again. And I would like to start talking about how industries are preparing for the AI from multiple pillars, right? So first up, any such technology disruption, which AI is one of them, will always bring with it a lot of circumspect minds, right? I remember Nandan Nilekani speaking in one of his talks about when computers were first introduced in the industry, into the banking industry particularly. They had to camouflage it as some ledger posting machine or something, so that people don't feel like they're going to lose their jobs. AI, particularly when this generative AI, like the OpenAI ChatGPT came along, lots of people said my job's going to go away. Right? That is the first thought people get into when certain technology can do some things that humans would otherwise be doing. So the first aspect, the first pillar that one needs to cover when you're talking of preparing yourself for an AI in particular, and the more recent generative AI based large models that will help business cases to be delivered, is how do you take people along? There are people skills. Shekhar did mention quite a lot of skills that one needs to acquire to get into that. So people in the industry should be looking to upskill themselves in those specific areas, because many business problems are what we're looking to solve. Technology is a medium to solve problems. And so getting people along to understand and develop skills where they can apply those technology domains into their specific domains. There is a data part which the tools do, then there is the domain part which people develop. A lot of these tools that we today talk of are more of knowledge. What we right now, before tools like generative AI take more deeper learning, is they lack the wisdom. So people bring the wisdom, so bring them up to speed with the skills is the first pillar that one needs to address when it comes to transforming an organization to take up newer technologies. Then you'd have built some business processes, practices in an organization, a lot of which would be mundane. If you can hand it off to somebody, when I come to talk to universities, one of the things I talk about is get rid of the brain dead work, where you don't have to use a lot of your brains. So business practices, business processes need to improve in those spectrum. You identify those, identify people who can automate those. It's a world of hyper automation with the AI coming. So in a hyper automated world, how do you skill people up to solve those problems using the AI tools which you have trained them on? It's the next pillar to address and look at. Obviously, when you do all of these, there are software level changes that you need to make. That's an ongoing thing. Software changes is the more easier set of changes. Whereas when you're looking at a lot of data, Shekhar mentioned, there's a lot of data that gets churned. And in your analysis, you churn out even more data. So as this data mountain crops up, you need to also look into how you transform the hardware level, which is a big challenge right now. If you see, NVIDIA is the big beneficiary of all of this with lots of their powerful GPUs, but you need to build more such solutions which are readily available, accessible to solve them. So these are some of the 4 pillars. The more horizontal solution that I think would also apply to anybody, any organization transforming or anybody looking to get into an organization, is the horizontal thing of ethics and responsibility when you are making all these changes, right?
Yeah, you mean to say that still the functional elements of the organization remain same, but the speed and the approach, or maybe the method in which it has been delivered today, maybe transformative, and it has to be also outcome-based kind of things. So if I take the same question to Mr. Ruby, you moved again from academic to industry now with Tata Research. How do you see the similar kind of a transformation in the research activities of the industry? Because in Indian context, we don't talk about much of the industry research happening, various reasons which we are seeing from last 20, 30 years. Probably we see that in the next 5 to 10 years because of the accessibility. So in terms of the opportunity which Tata Research is looking into that, what are the transitions which in your own work area has been taken up, and then how do you see that it is helping you and also the organization?
Thanks. I think my tone will be a bit negative. The truth is there is a lot of talent. We don't have excellent AI talent around. When I say that, it doesn't mean that people who are graduating are not good. They're good. But I think there is a gap in supply and demand. The number of opportunities that we have is enormous, and the number of people who can actually address those opportunities, I think it is relatively low. And supply is the biggest challenge as I see it. We face a lot of problems. We appoint people from across India for TCS research as well. We find it very, very hard. The second point I would make is, will upskilling work? Probably reskilling is what is required here. So probably Shekhar is able to sustain himself because he started with propagation, right? But it may not be very true for many other people. Upskilling may not be that straightforward, and reskilling may be required. So as far as TCS is concerned, they invested quite a bit on this. 25% of the workforce is already Gen AI ready. That's what they call it. I don't know what they mean.
That's 25% is significant.
It's a very significant number. That too, in the context of TCS, it is 125,000 people. So it's not a small number at all.
But there, in terms of Gen AI ready, they're being taught to use these things as tools. But what happens to problem definition? You have to solve a problem. Somebody must have an eye to see where the problem is. I think that is lacking and that has to be filled in. This cannot be done by an industry. I strongly feel the focus has to shift more towards academics, where the next generation people are trained to identify the problems where AI can be applied. I think I'll pause there.
Yeah, I think it's if the moment the industry talking about it training back to academic, I have a little different opinion on that. Means that it should be a natural, blended into their whole process rather than extended training. It's something that the faculties are already being to deliver other benefits of maybe the interested in point. So that leads to the question to over Savana is one of the interesting thing I read in profile, sir. Um, According to the graduate students, your favorite saying is, if it is not fun, it's not research. So one of the best thing I ask, if it is not fun, it is not research. If it is not fun, it's not study as well. So where do you see that the AI coming in, whole lot of things are also changing in industry, and academic is also trying to adapt at the same pace. But it is a big challenge in academic setup. The transformations is always slow. It is probably we see that 10 years, 20 years gap between industry and academia. And this will potentially create a more gap because there are terms which they need to follow and there are frameworks to operate. The industry have different landscape with the work into that. So your take on that.
Thank you very much. First, I'm very happy to hear this. Thank you very much for quality of JSS and this other one. And first, I want to say the Japanese situation and in Japan, very elderly country now, and up the next 15 years, degrees, population degrees, 15%, very shrinks. And another developed country, same situation. But India is now growing. And for example, when the Asian country need mass AI, because such as car driving in rural area, almost elderly person could not driving, and we need AI driving car. Yesterday we reached India. I surprised that traffic condition is very crowded, and almost driver is and I didn't think the Japanese situation. Japanese driver is very yes. And what do you please imagine the situation in India, automatic AI driving, very street is very silent. And next, I want to say, when the smartphone was born, about 10 years ago, but smartphone changed the world. Perhaps AI will change the next the world. And my opinion of the project, sorry, it's secret paper. And the need for the AI are challenging in society. Companies need to commercialize and the society implement the knowledge development at universities. New innovation will be created by using AI to solve these challenges. Companies can enrich society and its people through the social improvement of AI technology. Therefore, companies need to establish machine to connect the society and public with university. And Hokkaido University connected the big company. And sorry, Japan, almost Japanese university connected the big companies. For example, Hokkaido University collaborate with Hitachi. Tohoku University connected Toshiba. And Nagoya University connected Toyota. Many big universities in Japan connected many big companies together.
Yeah, we to say that seamless collaboration with academia and industry, and specifically on specialized areas of the application of AI or maybe other domain knowledges, which universities are very much specialized, where one or the two departments will be, leading that trend and others are supporting, make that happen, wherein which industries are always coming back to universities and then taking their benefit and also their knowledge base of the academia. So thank you very much for that. Considering knowing Dharma Prasad very well in actively doing industry and institution engagement in Mysore region, and knowing him, and also technological savvy of where and how things can happen. So considering the fast-paced nature of the technological advancements, how can businesses actively engage with universities and looking at other way to stay abreast with the latest AI research, and also what models which effectively used by the industry to the more engagement happens rather than always the complaint from the other end. So universities are not connected, but I look at that your industries are not connected back. So where do you see that in that?
Well, let me give you one simple example. You know, when the industry institute first happened in Mysore region, you know the history. First industry institute connection happened when Indian Institute of Science started 120 years ago. Sir M. Vishweswaraya calls the first department which starts there, which is applied chemistry. And I don't remember the professor, he's a Western English professor who actually becomes the director of Indian Institute of Science. He calls him, but Sir M. says, see, I have a problem in my Bhadravati steel factory and sandwood factory about distillation. He says, can you solve my problem? Then this professor goes back to Indian Institute of Science. In 6 months, he comes up with a solution of wood distillation technology, which is adopted both in Bhadravati steel factory and sandwood factory to solve the problem. This is where the industry institute interaction started in India. India is, I call Mysore as a startup capital. Number of companies the Maharajas have started is unimaginable. The innovation that happened in Mysore was unimaginable. But somewhere down the lane, we lost it. We became two sides of the coin. Both are essential, but we don't talk to each other. Have you ever seen one side talking to the other side? In a coin, no, both are essential, but we have lost it. The idea is very simple. Both of us have become busy in our own domains, right? One has become in its own domain, the other one has become another domain. Now let's not complain. Let's see how we can bring that back the connection. What are we trying to do in Mysore through the industry institute interaction panel from CIA is first, the industries come to academics because industry is always ahead in technology, understanding, adapting, because it's a necessity. We have to survive, right? At the end of the day. Understand the needs of the academics and try to provide them, either through panel discussions, lectures, and talk about the future technologies, because industries need to adapt the technology so they survive. See, we are sitting here about AI. That is because AI has become so important for our survival. It is essential. So the academics catches up with it by implementing these technologies and studies in their academics, and then the students will come behind. So it's always academics is one step behind because the nature of it. So industry people come, talk to the students, talk to the faculty members, about where we are heading, what are the technological changes that is happening. See, we are talking about AI today. In 10 to 15 years' time, I will be sitting here talking about robotics. In another 10 years' time, I will be sitting here talking about biotechnology. Because we'll have replaceable organs in 30 years. Right? I think you are all into biotechnology, I must say. So the, so the technology is dramatically changing. See, we are in mobile technological revolution as of now. Tomorrow it is going to be AI ML revolution. Immediately after that is going to be robotics, where electronics, somebody was talking in the previous panel, what do I do with electronics, electricals and mechanical? You need all those along with the AI to build the robotics. Robotics are going to drive our life. As soon as the robotics revolution happens, you will have a biotechnology revolution, where you will have replaceable lungs, replaceable kidney, replaceable eye. Something goes wrong, like a two-wheeler, you throw it, you get a new one. Right? That is what next, I don't know. Right? Maybe we'll colonize the entire Mars or something like that. We'll start buying sites in Mars, maybe. But anyway, as and when technology evolves, and industries adopt first. So naturally, it is the responsibility of we industrialists come back and talk to students, talk to faculty members. This is where we are heading. We have started this. We have extensively done this in the last 3 years. The second part of the story is academicians have to be receptive and then come to the industry. I think both the students do project work, but faculties never do. Faculties also have to upgrade. So they have to come to industry, understand how it works, so they can bring the knowledge and share here. That is the second step. The third step is where the collaboration happens, like the panel discussions you are having here, collaborative project work, consultancy works. This is the next step where you start monetizing the knowledge and the interaction and start looking at how do you innovate the entire ecosystem. And the fourth stage is where I think he's talking about Japan, US, Europe, where it has already moved ahead. We have not moved ahead, is having science chairs in the universities, establish companies, research labs in the universities, and use universities as a base for exploratory research work, which companies can't do. Companies can only do focused research work, they can't do exploratory research work as much as an academician can do. So as and when it's all about a marriage. The relationship starts with courting first. You have to date, then you have to interact, right? Then you have to marry. Then the family is built. So it is about a process. So we have to relook and restart and see how we can bring that back and start. And we have started in Mysore. And I would request all of you to also participate in the future. I'll pull all of you into the game. Right? The idea is let us start giving from our side. And then see how we can respond from the other side. If we stay in all relationship building, if we don't trust somebody, that fellow will never trust me. So it always, relationship starts by giving, not by taking. If you are a taker forever, nobody talks to you after some time. So we have to give. So let us start giving and then build this phase-wise.
So it means that you have a space where industry will participate, where an academy will participate. You can argue, you can debate, you can fight, everything can happen. But less that first step on both the sides has been initiated, just not with MoUs and collaborations, with more about an intent and then purpose where you need to try towards that transformation, both within academia and as well as the industry towards that. So coming to the Shekhar, you've been with academia nearly 8 years with Ramaya University, and then moved on to our industries. And your whole presentation gives a perspective about where the AI is heading towards that. In general, more or less, rest of the technology has been looked at and adapted in service-oriented industries. Even today, that is what we are seeing into that. Where do we see to address the critical questions? Last 2 days, people are asking. The core engineering is being missed out in a whole lot of the thing. But my perspective is like they are in a forefront in coming days, because without the core engineering, none of the things will work. Right? So you might have seen that in your experiences before this. In Andalia, I might have seen that AI has been applied in across the functions. Right? So these are the areas we need to think. What do you think industries, Westerners already started adapting into that in India? So in core engineering spaces, and collaboration of not only with academia, but collaborations with industry is a kind of a tri-party, service-oriented, product-oriented, and then the academia. There's a much more speed can happen. So where do you see that service-oriented industries wake up to the call hey, look at that, yes, we are able to do this, but what is left in other organization which is being having in a space, which is also a challenge with academia as well.
Okay, so see, when it comes to taking the AI across all the domains, yeah, when it comes to healthcare or finance or anything, right? It has started. If you look at, I remember it's almost 10, 12 years back when conversational agent product was created in the organization. This went as a POC. Almost we had around 50 companies across all the industry domains, retail, telecom. Everyone started looking at how we can leverage it. So only it was US defense training for one case we went for an education. Okay, so that's why I wanted to stress that education is I brought that. So everyone wants to try. Everyone wanted to look at. And almost 5 years, all the works happened as a POC. They will give around business cases of around 5 to 6 or even 10 business cases. For those business cases, we need to design the cognitive solution. So that is how it went. So now there is manufacturing. We have done for manufacturing industry. We have done for retail. We have done for insurance. We have done for banking. We have done for telecom. So Telstra was a client and BT was a client. So everyone as part of it. So, but how they will start looking at as the next step, right, when it comes to using it, it's only past 3 to 5 years we are seeing they are getting into the next level. So from POCs, it has started looking at, let us adapt, can I make this entire department automated through these for my business cases? So that started implementation. Earlier it was a POC. So if we see the engagement managers and then transition managers who used to work on these projects, they used to say, hey boss, don't give me a POC again. So give me something, where my all solutions should start work. And already guys would say, every time you ask for POC. But reality is from almost 5 years sort of a thing, when I conversed with many of my colleagues, it started coming in, embracing these technologies as well. So I would say that the journey of acceptance has started. So as I said, the key thing is the business productivity. When they start seeing that this is something which is making us easy and there is a return on investment. The initial POCs, return on investment, they may just want to test. But return on investment, once it starts coming in, so there is an acceptance. There's an acceptance. Deloitte, we have done a lot of things on automations. Deloitte was a customer, to look at it. And we co-published the things with Deloitte.
Yeah, a few industries in advanced stages and some of them in a kind of a transition, and few of them maybe where challenges are more, or maybe in a criticality is more. They are now getting it out, collaboratively, bring other people into their industries and start leveraging into them. Thanks for that. My question to both Dr. Gubi and then Gosawara, in terms of ethical implications of AI. How do Tata see from research point of view from industry, the same thing from academic point in terms of adapting?
Yeah, one of my favorite topics because I research in the same area. So, see, first of all, this ethical and responsible AI, we have to understand this a little bit further. First thing is the example Shekhar was giving about Tendulkar's voice being morphed using Gen AI, which is blatantly wrong. It's nonsense, basically. Right? What we are more concerned in the industry is about slightly different. It's not about blatantly using this technology for doing something shabby. It is about the bias of the algorithms, the explainability of the algorithms, the accountability of the algorithms, the public good that is going to come out of these algorithms. These are the critical parts that we need to focus on whenever we talk about a responsible and ethical AI. So there there will be a few computer science students here. They would have submitted their theses, reports, etc., etc. In their thesis, is there a chapter on responsible AI with respect to their own projects? If we don't get this holistic picture right, when I said earlier that things have to start in academics, this is what I meant. We can teach at the problem definition stage. The 5 responsible AI layers have to be overlaid, and that has to start at the training levels. So unless academics moves to that particular mode where people are forced to address these 5 concerns for every project, we will never solve this particular problem. And the blatant misuse, we cannot do anything about it. It will always be there.
Yeah, similar to internet, what do you call it, responsible use of the internet and then the social media platform. It should also be put in the same framework, which potentially India is doing that under digital documentations of using the anything on that matter. So coming to the same thing, was our like, where do you convey this thing in the university level? Because students are more, or maybe our researchers are more looking into the developing innovative thing and also adapting into that. So where and how these things, communications happens in the university?
And I lecture in Hokkaido University. Usually I say MC, ELSE, it's I. Ethics and legal and social issue. It's very, very important. LC are based on the liberal arts. The liberal arts is very important. The responsibility of AI based the human student and our human. And we want the think that to use the AI is one usage.
Yeah, we have seen that ethical committee in medical space in which they go through that committee and then understanding and then adapting. So similar thing is to be bringing to the universities back where technological things also may need to go if it is impacting certain areas. From product development point of view, you know that some of the other way it is impacting good and bad as well. So how do the product developer itself preparing for that in terms of putting that element within the product itself so that they know it this needs to be managed, and if it is not, then government is pitching or agencies pitching wherein which there is a stringent action against that kind of thing. So with that in the product level the companies are looking in that way.
Of course, every product company is looking at releasing a product for a customer. So the being a force for good in delivering products for the consumers is a key criteria for any organization for that matter. So it should be built into the product. Most organizations do that. So as much as we say due diligence about product development, right, this has to be as part of that, particularly when you're using technology which could potentially be biased. Right? In a technology that could potentially be biased, you have to have much more better guardrails than you would otherwise. So those guardrails have to be part of the product definition phase itself. So when you're defining a product, define what guards you need to put to be responsible about the products you use. Because end of the day, as you might have seen, right, he gave the example of smartphones and others. When the smartphones were originally built, they were not meant to replace cameras. They were not to replace clocks and things like that. But they have adopted. Over time, they have adopted and built that. Likewise, when you're bringing solutions of this nature, you should ensure that enough guardrails are put at the definition phase. And then at the time of qualification, you have validated that against known aspects of the solution. When there are unknowns that come in, when the product is deployed, you have to have a responsive organization that can quickly take stock of the usage pattern and carve its path to handle it correctly. Is how I would put it from a product organization.
It's like at the core itself address the issues rather than it is coming at the end of the bargain and then everybody needs to worry. the question to Shekhar is in terms of the impact in the ecosystem itself. We know that startup really more than 1 lakh startups in India, disrupting left and right. And do you see some of these startups actually kill the giants of the industry in coming days? And also a lot of giants have started acquiring and then after merging with the startup. So there is a lot of things are happening in that particular space where majority of the startups from academic kind of setup. So tomorrow industry may not go to academic setup only to recruit a candidate, but finding a solutions based startup for my industry or maybe the best research happening for my industry kind of a thing. Do you think is happening in India from your perspective?
So, see, it's a very important question actually. So because this is something which I will be and most of the people will be happy to see happening, right? So just to quote one of the case wherein I'm not sure how many of you Tejas networks work on telecom, right? The telecom part, right? The entire India, the 5G towers, ran the radio access networks is from Tejas, which will go 100,000 sites across the India for BSC. So now, if a 5G solution, if when we wanted to have the entire thing into the picture, LTE used to be there. LTE used to be a very, very strong, and 5G. So we have collaborated and we got from Madras. I think it's in the news already. It's already in the news. We took the solution of what the 5G solution worked in the IIT Chennai. And then we have taken it and we are going to productize. And we want to add a lot of other features into it and then take it as a solution to the rest. So this co-creation across the industries, like a startup doing the work is happening. As you said, startup, there are two mindsets that the people will do. I wanted to build something, a solution, and then, right? There are a lot of people who do a business like that, right? Because and they start the next one. There was one guy from NIT who joined us, NIT Surat. I wanted to say this guy, who came out with this, he was not very keen in his job and he was just, very reluctant and not answering and on his own sort of. Over 2 years, we came to know that he has developed his own product and he sold it for matrimony.com. With the big money he sold and he resigned from the job and started the next solution, on the product that he said, sir, I just wanted to get on to the next one. I don't want to trouble you people around here. So it means that, there are solutions which people are, like Microsoft is when integrating, right? When it comes to the OpenAI, they have closely just signed up with so many things that Microsoft wants to do. A lot of acquisitions will happen as part of it. And this ecosystem should remain. According to me, this ecosystem should remain. People should develop, should sell, should acquire. Big fish can eat the small fish, or small fish can pick up big fish. So all the ecosystem should remain.
Maybe the message back to an academic that prepare and then work on a solution rather than finding a job itself. So
yes, that's what I would say. I was very happy to see that, I wrote almost 5 or 6 years back in a LinkedIn about an article on practice professors getting into. So the practice professors are like, you have come from an industry to an academia and you are a practice professor who builds the ecosystem of developing certain new things, building out certain things, right? And academic fundamental research professors are different, administrative professors are. So all the three roles are very much required in the ecosystem and they should not say, being there, I just wanted to say very bluntly, it's somehow our education system has gone wrong, saying that you have to publish 2 journals, 3 conferences, 2 conferences, then you will get PhD. These things are not correct. If they are given enough thinking to do the innovation, work in a step which you have, do a good development, come out with, they should get whatever the PhD is.
Yeah, experiments started. I think we have seen faculties become entrepreneurs, still teaching and then also become a part of the startups and then supporting students and faculties together and starting a startup as well. So the last question before winding up this session to Dharma Prasad, the flip side of AI. We know that ethical part, we discussed that. Are we creating a lazy or maybe what do you call it, sleepy community, or maybe whatever you're looking into that? The more of implications of that, where it is adding these layers on the other side of the either the research. A lot of people can do the research in just few months time, and people will say that okay, this can be done in this way. That is all fine, but other aspects of the thing, like human skills, is dying down. The soft skills, again, many people have spoken on this stage, is like it's dying down. So it means that are we too much towards the technology? The human element has been taken a hit. So what are the flip side with which needs to be corrected?
Yeah, let me start with a simple statement. There are humans who are good in doing certain things which AI can never do, which is leadership, emotional skills, and creativity, which AI will never take over. And even, you ask an AI to crack a joke, ask ChatGPT to write a joke, it will write a terrible joke, right? I've tried this, okay? You have used ChatGPT to write a book also. It's fantastic. I've written a book called Let's Not Get Left Behind, right? On communication skills. You can go and look up. The idea is, AI is good in certain things. Scalability, precision, certain things. End of the day, I was reading a HBR article yesterday, Harvard Business Review article. They said when companies adopted AI only, their productivity increased for a very short period, and the productivity increase was only about 8%. In 6 months, 1 year, they have to come back and get people again on board to do the job. So it's not going to replace jobs. Now, it is going to augment a lot of our jobs. That means a lot of our low-skilled, regular, entry kind of jobs will be taken over by. Yeah, it is natural. So we are thinkers, right? We are not doers as much. Our evolution has been doers, and then we have moved into thinkers. So we will use AI to do this stuff, but we will still imagine and think and do stuff. So it's not going to be exclusive either here or there, first. Second, how long will AI run? As long as I want it run, right? Simple. Someday I will decide, ethically, unethically, whatever it is, we are going to decide how long we are going to use, how far we are going to use, where to be stop. For anything and everything, we have done this in our past. That's why we become a dominant species, right? Imagine we in a forest fighting a lion for a prey. Can I beat a lion or a tiger in running? I'll give you one more historical example why we are good and why we will remain good. Imagine you want to catch a prey, which is a deer, in a forest. Not this era, in the era where we had to run and catch. Can you beat a tiger or a lion in the chase to your prey? You can't. Right? You can't. So what do? We did a relay race at that time. We ran as long as the deer ran and fell down. Right? Imagine I would run, chase it for 2 kilometers and stop. There'll be one more guy waiting there. He will run chase the deer for another 2 kilometers. He will stop. Then there will be a third guy who will run it. Until it falls down, we ran and we killed the prey and we got it home. Can a tiger do this? No, it can't. We are extremely intelligent. Same thing will happen in AI. AI will do certain things. We will use it as a slave as long as we want to. We will not let it take over. Right? It is an imagination of many people that they are creating a doomsday. I feel personally that's not going to happen. We will figure it out how long we want to use it, how far we can take it. We'll create ethics, we'll create guardrails, we'll create a lot of restrictions so that, just like, for example, in China, somebody cloned a baby. Immediately the whole world went on him and stopped him. Nobody else has cloned again, right? A modification of the genes in a baby before it was born, because it was unethical. So we created a guardrail saying that you can't do it. So we'll create the same way in AI also. So we'll let it run, but we'll let it run as long as it is good for me. Human beings are extremely selfish. Imagine, there is no other animal in this world who is as selfish as human being. That is me and you and all of us sitting here. Right? We are extremely selfish. So we realize someday that, yeah, we had it enough, stop it, pull the plug, and then take it forward.
So in sum up, AI is here to stay. Be responsible in the way you are going to develop, use it, maybe adapt into that, and look at how it is also impacting yourself and also the surrounding people around, or maybe communities. So thank you for wonderful, the inputs and the topic which you have mentioned into that. So I'll hand it over to the chair and to the chair of the session.
Yeah. Come to an end of an insightful panel discussion. I would like to express our sincere appreciation to our esteemed panelists for sharing their valuable insight and expertise. Thank you all. A special thanks to our moderator and co-chair for your valuable active participation. Your contribution has added immense value to our discussion. Thank you. So I request our chair, Dr. Suprakash, and our co-chair, Dr. Nalina KB, to hand over a token of appreciation for our esteemed panel. I also request Mr. Shivashankar to give away the token of appreciation. I hand over one is
Top. Thank you. Thank you for the panel discussion. Thank you for the panel discussion and an interesting outcome of. So we'll just quickly have a brief validatory, uh, a very brief validatory about the 2 days deliberation and how it went on. So request our Vice Chancellor, Principal, please come out with the data. Shekhar sir, request you also join us. I request Mr. Please deal with the process. Good afternoon, one and all. I submit my pronounced to the lotus feet of His Holiness, respected Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Santosh Kumar, Professor Shekhar, and my beloved principal, and all other resource persons in the capacity of keynote speakers, and also who have taken part in the panel discussions today. There are 3 panel discussions were there. led by Dr. Jagdish Kondalkar from Deloitte, and the other one led by Dr. Anand Kumar, and the third one, Mr. Shekhar, yeah, is with me, Chief Mentor and Director of Tejas Networks. And also we had in the during the panel discussions, we had Mr. Praveen Chandran from Tata Consultancy, Mr. Ashish, Mr. Rajat Agarwal, Mr. Sushil Basavara from Koida University, Japan, and Mrs. Priyanka from KCST, and Dr. Raman Suresh Kumar, and Dr. Shankara, and Dr. Ravi Shankar, and we had Mr. Achyuta Panduranga and Professor Okaswara from Hokkaido University, and Dr. Jayavardhana and Dr. Dharma Prasad for all these three sessions. So, and along with them, I welcome all my heads of the departments, the professors, and research scholars, and all the participants. I welcome you all for this valedictory function, and I don't want to stand between your lunch and this ceremony, but valedictory it is sort of customary. We are going to do it, and not only that, we need to thank you all for your active participation during this 2 day academia industry MoU conference. So I welcome one and all. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Vanis to report for 2 weeks.
Good afternoon, all. Texas Science and Technology University orchestrated a transformative two-day academia industry MoU conclave on 19th and 20th January 2024. The event witnessed the active participation of over 25 high-profile officials of national and international academic institutions and industries, with four esteemed foreign university academicians contributing their insights to five keynote addresses and engaging in five panel discussions throughout the two-day conclave. Attendees included faculty members, research scholars, and postgraduate students. And the conclave marked the signing of three pivotal memoranda of understanding, solidifying collaborative commitments from Schneider Electric Private Limited, C-STEP, and Southern Illinois University Carbondale. And Professor Yu from SIUC worthily joined the award signing ceremony. And this dynamic platform of academia industry MoU conclave successfully brought together luminaries from academia, industry, and research organizations. Together, they addressed contemporary challenges and explored the vast opportunities for collaborative endeavors. The two-day conclave was inaugurated by distinguished dignitaries, and there were five keynote addresses followed by panel discussions, with all the eminent delegates actively participating in the discussion. The panelists emphasized the imperative of applying a global approach and fostering collaboration between academia and industries. So each session was managed by teams comprising dynamic faculty members from various departments of JSS STU, and the sessions were live streamed on YouTube by the virtual media team. So the active participation from diverse stakeholders, the fruitful discussions, and forging of meaningful memorandum of understanding have laid the foundation, promising partnerships. Their dedication and enthusiasm have been instrumental in the success of the two-day academia industry MoU conclave. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vai. I request our chief guest, Mr. Shekhar, Chief Mentor Director of the Tejas Network, to give his
So good afternoon, all of you, and the, uh, the management of the JSSSTU and the faculty, the students, all of you. It's been very privileged to be part of this occasion. It's always we love to come back to the colleges, right? So that is something which is there in our mind always that we feel, and especially when we have studied in college. Okay, so that is a kind of our Fortran professor is here. So I think him. I just remember that he has taught me Fortran. So that those are the days which we have enjoyed, and that it's an occasion to give back the possible things that we can do, and then collaborate with the institution, universities, and Pradeep arranging this as part of it is really good.
it brings a lot of things and a lot of new friends for me also to talking to, and I'm hoping that this kind of a collaboration will continue and will create more strengthen between the industry and academia, and would be more benefit to the faculty and the students. So that is what, at the end of the day, the industry readiness gets created from the students when they join the industry. So that is something is a focus, and this is a very good platform. So thanks for calling me, and all the best to everyone. Thank you, Shekhar sir, for making time and listening us on a Saturday. Request our Vice Chancellor Santhosh sir to please give us a presentation now.
The outset, I submit my humble pranams to the lotus feet of His Holiness and seek His divine blessings. Mr. Shekhar from Tejas, my colleagues, registrar, and principal, all the others who are present here, and especially the participants from the industry. For all, over here for the last 2 days, for the industry, academia, MoU, conclave. As our registrar said, we should have planned it a little better. It's almost 2:50 now, so we are still waiting to have lunch. So the brief report Dr. Vanishi has already given about the 2 days deliberations what we have had. It is very promising and encouraging, and this will also set the tone for the coming years to have more number of partners coming here for the same MOU. This is the first time we attempted this as per the from the top management. So I would say more or less successful. Now definitely there are benefits for both the parties involved here. But I was very happy that professors and the dean from the university in the morning before the session started, they came to my office and they came out with a proposal of sending students from their university to our university. Also, asking whether some students from this university can go and work there. This is the true collaboration. We appreciate your offer and will definitely take it forward. This is exactly what we are all looking for. So in the morning also I said it should be a win-win situation for both. It's not that we only call people and take from them. So it should also be in a position to give it back to them. So with that hope of continuing this particular industry academy conclave in the coming years as well, and to have fruitful collaborations in future as well. So I thank each one of you for coming from far and wide and participating in these two conclave very actively. I was also I have given a feedback from Dr. Vanisharan and Pradeep. Some of my colleagues, they came and told me all the keynote addresses were excellent, and participations, especially in terms of the other sessions, the sessions were also very excellent. This is exactly what the objective also was. So with this few words, since the objective is met, I congratulate each one of you who organized this, and we look forward to see you again next year. And with, as I told you, better planning, so will not keep you waiting for lunch. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Santosh sir. Um, we call upon Manoj sir for the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Pradeep. Seeking the divine blessings of His Holiness Jagadguru Sri Shivaratri Deshikendra Mahaswamiji, I feel honored and privileged to propose the vote of thanks for this valedictory event. I, on behalf of the university, thank Mr. Shashidhar Dongre from L&T Technology, Navneet Krishna from Mercedes-Benz, Dr. Jagadish Bhandarkar from Deloitte, and Mr. Amar from Arman International for accepting our invitation to provide the keynote address in this conclave. I am also very thankful to all the panel members uh, who participated in the 5 panel sessions. Mr. Dr. Jagdish Bhandarkar, Mr. Praveen Chandran, Ashish Chadda, Rajat Agarwal, Dr. Siddhabaswe Gowda from Japan, Dr. Amod Anand Kumar from Arman International, Priyanka from KCST, Raman Suresh, Shankara, Ravi Shankar from UCO, Shekhar from HMP, Achyuta Panduranga, Ogashwara from Japan, Jayavardhan Kupi and Dharma Prasad. These panel members participate in today's three panel sessions. So on behalf of the university, we thank all the panelists for participating in this panel discussion. I, on behalf of the university, thank the today's chief guest, Shekhar, Mr. Shekhar HMP, for your inspiring remarks in this valedictory event. I thank today's guests of honor for this valedictory event, Dr. S.A. Dhanraj, Registrar, for his address and for the constant support which greatly helped towards organizing the conclave successfully. We are very much thankful to Dr. A.N. Santosh Kumar, Vice Chancellor, for presiding over this valedictory event for your presidential remarks, and you supported at every stage for us in organizing this conclave. I, on behalf of the organizing committee, thank Dr. C. Natraju, Principal SDC, Controller of Examination, Deputy Registrar, Assistant Registrar, Deans, and all the officers of the university and the Constituent College for their support and presence in this valedictory event. I also thank the heads of the departments, faculty members, and staff, research scholars, and students for participating in this conclave. I once again I should acknowledge and appreciate the work done by Dr. Vanishri Arun and Dr. M. Pradeep in organizing this event successfully. I thank everyone for their participation and contribution to this conclave and for gracing this valedictory event. Thank you all once again.
Um, Thank you, everyone. The lunch is served in the first floor, so please join us for lunch. Thank you.